So there's going to be a slight database built that we're going to be using out of the MDT until we can sit with Ghosty and see if we can get things just streamlined into the MDT.
Yo, what up, Connor?
Regular patrol will
Missed
get
half the
access
meeting.
to some of it, like the casings and...
Where's Coop at? Oh, Coop's a fucking cop now, I forgot.
I don't think he was talking to you.
Wasn't talking to you.
Oh. They'll get access to like the casings portion,
Yo,
so
up,
they can see
Winter?
what casings were used somewhere else, or if they have a hot gun or whatever. But there will be a strict task force only
Stripes?
database, and
This is just
stuff like
the
that,
training. It's not a big deal,
It's
chat.
really no different than
I'm
like
doing good, Siri. How you doing?
what some of these officers have been like already working on when it comes to
Already demoted.
databases and all that stuff out. The only difference is, you know, we're over at High Game, and we're gonna have oversight on what this investigational unit will be doing, which is task force essentially, and
Wait, Tourette's
making
is a
sure
park
that when
ranger
people do
now.
investigations that they're properly conducted and make sense for the role play, and
Yo, what up, G
you know,
Money?
people aren't just doing whatever they want for several hours while taking a police slot. I think
No.
we're looking into like a UC slot where it'll be primarily
I think we got
members.
granted that, right, Coop?
What?
Did
Wasn't
we
paying
get granted
attention.
that?
I
What?
didn't.
The extra
What'd you-
slot for UC purposes only, or investigation purposes only, where they don't help the rest of the police force. They just simply do
really-
that.
I haven't really talked about it, but I don't really see a.
Yo,
problem
what up?
with
How
it.
you guys doing?
Well,
You
we
guys had a
can
good
talk about it
Valentine's
later.
Day.
Basically, we
Yeah,
just
I
want-
don't think we should.
We'll just do a
Say
cop
yes or
training,
no
and then we'll
on
switch
that,
to
That's fine.
Okay.
The point is just, you know, we know
Randy.
people are trying to like essentially. I mean, I want to say they're trying to like not do cop work, but I know people want to investigate things, and unfortunately, when you spend a lot of time investigating something, you're not doing cop work because you're not
Mhm.
responding to calls. You know, I've seen officers ignore 1013s and just big shit happening in
No,
the
I
server
hate
because
it.
they're following up on leads, and we just want to help facilitate that in a way that makes sense and doesn't cause other
My hand
officers
is
to be
doing great.
frustrated
Hell yeah, dude. Keep
by
the hand
someone,
nice
you know,
and warm,
investigating
alright?
some situation on the south side or something like that.
Fucking,
So
there's a dead dog here.
I think there'll be more information on that next week or so, putting out an announcement, and you guys can work with those guys and ask them questions and ask command questions about, you know, if you're working on investigations, you can bring it to them and just kind of see how they would want to handle things, and yeah, that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is
So
that
one of these
Flippy?
task force members may call upon
I think he is.
patrol officers to help with like simple tasks. That's not gonna
Flipper.
cause you to have to go out of commission for a long time. So it will
This is
be
why
useful
Shots
when
wants
it
a
does
cop
come
character.
to
100%.
investigations, especially if
He's
you
loving
like,
this
discovered the
meeting right now.
investigation.
Where is he?
I think it's only fair that you be a part of it to an extent.
Well, he left already. Or am I, oh, he's
Right.
back there. You see him near the ATM?
There
He's so
has
happy
been a
right now.
couple people picked for the task force to start
He's
it off.
so fucking
And then
happy.
once we get it going and it's like a well-oiled
so
machine,
cute, dude.
then we'll look at bringing more people in.
Yep. So I know people will probably message us and say, "Hey, can I be part of this?" Just know we're working on it. We just want to make sure its foundation makes sense.
Oh, Triple's here
And,
as well.
it's working smooth before we just
Whole
start
gang is
onboarding
here.
people and figuring out what their position in the police department is, what their position in the task force is, etc. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Can't see.
Yeah, fucking Columbo's in my fucking Columbo.
As far
Enjoy the
as
sergeant rank I gave
everything,
you.
I
No,
think
it
that's
wasn't
all
deserved
I
only
had.
because.
Bobby,
We,
Mets, Colombo, Triple.
Sure. We put out the police accountability
yeah.
information very recently. Obviously, that's been put into effect. I'm sure some of you have been on the receiving end of that.
Ready.
I'm hoping people understand its purpose and why we're doing it, and primarily a lot of it is,
Fucking Mehdi, I love
role
him.
play. There's
I'm
parts
so
of it
glad
that aren't,
Bobby's
and that's,
chief
you
as
know,
well.
the OOC stuff is just stuff that gets handled on the server side of things. We're not sitting there watching people's streams all day to like watch them do something stupid at a traffic stop. But just keep in mind, if we see people do something stupid, you know, you're gonna receive a strike point. Just kind of how it is. Just want to make sure officers are doing officer work, so it makes sense, and we're not trying to hold anyone back and the role play back. But it is a police department, so we have to treat it like a police department at the end of the day. If you have some questions about that, you know, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we'll move on to the SOPs. And I think Metzger can talk about that.
Just real quick on that. I mean, I don't know if you saw like Brian's IA interview, but that's pretty much how it's gonna go. It's meant to be fun and like, you know, have role play value to that. I don't know if you enjoyed it, Medi, or not, but I thought it was cool.
That was awesome. Honestly, that kind of stuff makes it feel more immersive, to be honest. But why am I talking like this? Yeah, honestly, like that IA stuff was a load of fun. I think it's fun to be suspended and investigated, and it adds more depth.
Oh hell yeah!
I think, to what we do, other than just the same old shit.
Okay, Toretti.
It makes me nervous.
I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, so just real quick, we have some cops that, role play, and they want to role play as cops. They want to do their job as best they can, and then move on. And then we have people that
this is an
wanna
OOC
see sort of
meeting,
what they can get away with, and sort of push it a little bit. And that's kind of why we need to follow up with it.
Look at Vinny. He's in his meetings and he's got an OOC already.
Investigations, just to add more role play to
Vinny is in his element right now. He's loving it.
I really don't want to suspend people for an infraction. Like some of you guys might have 25 points and you might do something stupid and I catch you doing it. I don't want to suspend people, but just be aware that you may be suspended and just treat it as role play.
As a real
if it's anything more serious, we're gonna reach to you outside of the
was that really
the
Chang?
game.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind it is role play orientated first. So if you get suspended, please don't go off and talk about how upset you are and how you're not being respected and et cetera, et cetera. Just talk to us if you feel like we shouldn't suspend you because you wanted to play cop today. But just be mindful that if you are doing stuff that
Bobby's
will
a
get
great
you suspended, we're gonna suspend you in game.
He's a bit of everything,
And,
he's fun and he's serious.
Yeah, if you have issues with it, just talk to us outside of the game.
And you can tell he actually he wants
everybody
to
understand
PD.
that we're all adults here.
What the fuck?
Sounds reasonable. If you do something that you should get suspended for, you will get suspended. Expect it.
Yeah, and not only that, but the stuff that
can't wait to get suspended
can sort of be meted per se. Most, if not all of it, is primarily fun sponge stuff. So don't be a fun sponge.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Is there going to be consistency about everyone? Like everyone's going to be on the same level?
Yeah. Everybody.
Suspend me.
I think Coil and Medi are leading the pack.
Raven is there? Yeah, I know.
Fucking strike points right now.
No, I am.
That's
you
'cause
just
you're a moron.
actually we just went over 30, so you have another 30 to get up before you get suspended again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just hit 30 last night. That's how I got suspended.
Oh, that's why you got suspended.
That list is ever changing. We might move things around, remove things, add things, but if we do change it, we'll
fire this motherfucker. Nice, dude.
There's
30
not
points.
a place where we can see how many we got or anything, right?
No,
We have
it's
to ask.
I have never
Probably.
been striked in my life.
yeah,
chat.
I would just ask. It's kept private. Actually, over the last, I showed the URL by accident yesterday.
What a
and
surprise!
Yesterday?
Again.
I got
God.
no, not for the MDT
Link
guys.
command URL.
Relax. To our strike list, and I got like 13 emails asking for access. I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
2 strikes for leaking the damn URL already. I went for
Listen, dude, it hasn't happened again.
I got fired, chat.
That's why we
lock documents.
Hey, but look what I got. I'm not even gonna say that. Never mind.
I do have
Yeah,
a question. So the current topic, is SOPs, but to briefly go back, we've had people do dispatch. Is that no longer going to be allowed?
Dispatching is fine.
Chat, we need to get back up to 4,700 subs, chat.
Does it count as a cop
21
slot?
subs
I guess
away.
is what I'm asking.
No, you stay
Hell
in mission
no.
mode, you don't do any police stuff.
Yeah, if you're gonna
Okay.
adhere to the
Just take
cop limit,
reports.
then
All right. Well,
I'd rather people do dispatch than paperwork if you're gonna take up a cop slot.
yeah. No, I just want clarification on that because I know some people are very interested in doing dispatch when they
When you
can't
get
really
back
get
to
on duty.
5k? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Alright.
think there's any issues in.
Yo,
in that.
Crazy with a
Just
Twitch Prime. Crazy, thanks so much for the
DOC
Twitch
has
Prime.
their own slots, but they take up cop slots. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, as long as people aren't just standing around and you're servicing some type of role play, I don't see why there's an issue for people to sign in and do dispatch work. Just don't sign in to do
Got your
paperwork.
bro. Thank you so much.
I keep having to tell that to people.
Listen to the
You have
meeting.
your
I'm
own
listening, dude.
external way of doing paperwork. just use that. Do not sign in and stand around all day.
Yeah, makes sense.
Understood.
As far as discipline goes, I think
Holy shit. Skylar with the 5-2-1 gift us up. Skylar, thanks so much for the 5. I appreciate it a lot. Everyone for having them in the chat for him.
Is there any way that accountability and that the discipline is making it across to the people who demanded it? Because if it's private, they kind of, you know, from the outside, all they hear is nothing. They don't know what's happening with it. It's not like we go on Twitter and say, hey, I'm suspended. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Is there any way that this is getting to the other side to let them know we are taking accountability? Because to them, it just seems like I got shot by an AR and nothing happened, you know?
I mean, we're bringing people in here and talking to them before we give them strike points. So, I mean...
No, I think it's referring to the...
No, I'm not talking about the cop that's being disciplined. I mean non-cops. Let's say I'm a criminal.
How are we going to inform a criminal that somebody gets suspended for excessive force or whatever?
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Like,
Well,
I don't understand how you're going to do that.
Say, like, the most that they'll get is that we'll take care of the issue. Like, people that
We're
have
not
come
gonna...
to us will say we'll take care of it, but we keep it behind closed doors.
They made their complaint. We're dealing with the complaint. That's all they need to know. We're not going to make it public unless the
I mean,
person
our character they'll know, right?
that's on the receiving end wants to make it public, and
actually, no, they wouldn't.
That's where it stops.
It'll end up on Reddit anyway.
Well, no. So the OOC ones, I will message. Yes, so I will message the person and say, hey, do you want to do this in character? Or you
Yo,
want
if I got striked, I'd 100% tell you guys, chat.
So,
TLDR,
don't want it.
I think what you're saying, sir, is we're not pandering to fucking Reddit and other people that are crying about shit.
We've made this. We're adhering to it. We're dishing out disciplines. They should know that it's being handled.
I don't give a shit. There's a lot of cops.
All right.
I have a question.
Yep.
Yes.
Who's that guy with the blue hair?
DOC has kind of seen a pretty big dip lately. Now that we have like a bunch of cops in Q, are we able to, you know, maybe?
So DOC is going to be pretty much a proving grounds for if you should become a cop or not. That's going to be reworked this week. I got to go through our current roster of DOC. As you can see, there's like 35 or 40 people, and there's rarely any DOC on.
Yeah,
so
it's rough.
I'm gonna go through that, remove them, and reach out to some people that have shown interest in DOC, and just lay out some strict guidelines.
Damn.
And also people that have been showing interest in cop. I think it's a good.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that now that, you know, you've pretty much stated that DOC is a proving ground for cop, those people will now that haven't been around will all
remember the wall simulator?
Will that matter?
I know, I've been saying that for a while.
Oh, okay.
Damn. Shots
Are we able
fired.
to recommend people for DOC?
Of course.
By chance? All right.
I will
Shots
take
fired by
your
this
guys'
chick.
recommendations over just like somebody DMing me that I want to be DOC.
Okay.
Ryan Parker.
He's an asshole. No.
He needs to stay at PDM.
So yeah, I'll be working on that like this coming week and bringing on more people so we can get it more consistent throughout the time zones and just setting some more guidelines of how much you got to be on duty up there because there's pretty much nothing.
I think like setting up a limit, like for example, EMS does, like hours to play or something, could be beneficial to DOC.
So I do want to incorporate.
I did it, man. There you go.
So that they can come down here, pick up bodies, and bring them up there, and just get another role play aspect of.
I'm just kidding, man. I don't give a shit.
Rescue their buddies or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I've done it before with Katarina a couple times. Just requested her for transport. She would come down with other DOC and help us.
And now she's here being trained to be a police officer, and I want that to like be on record that we're trying to turn people over from DOC. We just need people to go in there and actually sign in and be DOC.
Exactly.
And I know it has its own issues and the whole standing around stuff and just
this
waiting
is
for prisoners,
Katarina.
but
how would I know?
Go ahead.
It's not as bad if there's sorry to interrupt you. It's not as bad if there's other people, but yeah, when you're by yourself, it kind of
Bro.
Yeah.
Love the rapture.
Yeah, you could be there for like 4 hours, like by yourself. So like what I do is, if there's no one else there, I'll make up little drills for myself, like tactical stuff, and then when I get bored of that, I play zombie survival games and stuff while hanging out waiting for inmates.
Oh.
So it's
Make
it
your
is
own
more fun when
like
there are
when
more.
you do get an inmate, set them on fire.
Oh no.
While we're waiting for Andrews, given that he's sort of lead on this, and also Bobby.
What the fuck?
Oh,
What the?
Have you guys actually had your game crash recently? Because I haven't. Like, I can't remember the last time it actually crashed.
Oh
my
Earlier today.
Yeah, mine crashed earlier today.
Shit, sorry, man.
Somebody
Fuck.
copy and paste something.
I got no benefits.
I crashed in the OTT so hard that the entire server just fucking.
There you go.
Jesus. I
Jesus.
just found it weird that, you know, a lot of people on that side just crashed when, again, I don't remember the last time I did crash.
This is an old build.
How's it going?
So,
Control C.
I'm good. How are you?
let me see if I can
miss
change my uniform.
Yes, you do.
What's Control C, dude?
It's been so good. There's no crashes.
fuck
The
is this?
racing can
Fuck
come
is this
back.
clown?
You know,
The
TJ, the
racing
last
can come
time you
back?
Just
said
came
that
out-
I
came out to radio over
sent to
here?
our.
Hey, fucking handcuffs.
Alright.
Holy
You
shit.
want
Nice.
to,
Nice one, bud.
you want to instead get hit by
Nice
a
one,
car
bud.
that's gonna
Ghost
drop
cars
into
have
you?
been rough though. Like I think it's
I mean,
double.
I'm okay. I'd rather crash into a
Curtis,
car
jump.
than have my car disappear for a tsunami, you know?
True.
I can fix the crashed car. I
Yeah.
can't fix the
I cannot
bomb
help it that
car.
no one else wanted to volunteer.
Please, my name is
Why
AJ
you
have
Hunter.
to?
What's up?
I know.
Can I wear those
Too bad.
pants or no?
Yeah, why not? If I.
It's not my original time.
Why is
Like,
your
you actually
pants
asked to
blue,
switch time
Rose?
zones, unlike everybody else, so.
I did ask. Yes, you're
You
right.
said Randy
Yeah,
this
unlike
guy.
everybody else who didn't ask and just
That's where you
did.
gotta jump.
You get a jump.
Look, I'm
No, you have to
available
jump.
all hours of
Rose,
the
why are
Weapon's
your pants
broken?
So if we
blue?
really need coverage, I
The gun just broke in my hand, chat.
Just for training, right?
I just want to force
Nice, dude. Imagine I was like
Alltså
mid
Nike, det är
fucking
skitbra att
fight.
du godmodar där ute istället för att lyssna på mötet. Din jävla idiot.
Moi, je comprends vraiment rien qu'est-ce que tu viens de dire. Je comprends
Oh,
sérieusement,
man.
je comprends fuck all.
Hello.
Det är inte viktigt. Det är inte viktigt däremot.
Actually, I don't think you can wear them
Want me to
pants
change
until
it?
you're an
Yeah,
officer.
Yes.
That was one of the,
Look,
that was one of the
Kareem,
best ones I've heard.
I'm working
Oh
on it.
my god, I'm gonna stab
I got
Rose.
set up for failure, dude.
hey,
Bobby.
Did she just? If it
What's
was
up?
last
Ready?
night, yeah.
What?
I'm gonna kill you.
Dude, imagine I was mid gunfight, my gun was
Change your
broken.
clothes.
And I'm pretty sure that happened to Big D too.
I
I was watching Big D the other day, his weapon wouldn't come out. I'm pretty sure it broke mid gunfight.
This hat is sweet.
Big D was just running around with, like trying to get his taser out and he just couldn't.
This is the boomer corner.
Look at all these freaking
boomers
boomers,
only.
dude.
Guys, hey, can you guys believe all these children? Man, lucky there's no 19-year-old Australians here. Jeez, that's hot.
Raven's 19? No, he's not.
Yeah, why don't we just kill everyone?
He's 19? What the fuck?
Yeah, where is your gray?
Alright,
Nope.
are we missing anyone?
Oh
Are we good
no,
to
it's just,
continue?
no, it is. It's just the lighting in here. I think
He
makes
actually
it-
is.
But I don't see
It's
Andrew's.
great.
screen.
What's that?
Oh, my
These are
bad.
the wrong
Nope.
pants.
Oh, there he is.
Fuck me.
Oh, investigate.
It's a live server. It's weird.
well, there's only two of us chasing.
I think it is.
Alright,
All
let's
right.
reconvene.
One of them crashed, and it was only me and Bayo. And he was like, "All right, we're getting, shot up by two people."
Alright. We should
So
probably
he's
all
like,
get back
Yeah, I
into our
think you
little
should shoot in this situation.
circle.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it was fine.
Oh, God.
Just make sure to listen to your FTO. That's all.
All right, sounds
So
good.
you don't get in trouble for something, you know.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
let's get. I'm sorry. You can blame it on Nikes.
Puts her finger in Metzger's nose.
It's always
Excuse me?
Nike's fault.
It's so
It's always your
fucking
fault
sexy,
when
you
you
know?
Talk true
when he
about-
crashes.
Right now.
You have your
I'll
ID.
destroy you.
I would.
All right, so
You wanna move
what were we
mountains
talking
with me?
about?
What?
You wanna move
DLC?
mountains?
She was
Yeah.
talking about what
Oh,
she
yeah.
was doing when
Oh, hell
it was
yeah.
boring.
Oh,
She's not there anymore?
See if I
Yeah,
still have
she's-
permission
she's
to do it. Yes, I do. You should be able to sign on that.
He's in the back talking to.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
nice, Raven. You're
So-
trying to.
Nice, dude.
Nice, dude.
Is that
I
your
have a
secretary,
question.
Raven?
Aren't you gay?
No, I
in-game?
was whitelisting out a cop, you cunt.
Oh, I bet, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I bet you were white
See,
listing
that's
her. Is that what we
why
call it now?
Nice,
Raven's
mini
gonna
outfit.
Nice, dude. Peeing whitelist out, huh?
Y'all
That's
motherfuckers
a-
are sick.
He took payment for that.
See this three right here, chat.
God.
Right move there.
All right,
Just ready to ride the bike.
we're done with the DLC topic.
You
believe
can't.
so.
Holy shit,
You're
this
kidding.
three on duty, game over.
Metzger, you got the
So
SOP
what's
section,
Ray
no?
doing?
Do you want to talk about it or?
Yeah, sure.
So the SOPs are being reworked into one document A couple people have seen it. It's pretty comprehensive and pretty much eliminates like 5 different documents. So it should all be in one place and everything should be outlined.
There's you and Flippy.
Nice.
Flippy's right here.
Instead of basically, so here's the issue we've been having. We put an announcement out and then it never gets put in the SOPs. So to remedy that, we're actually gonna like maintain the SOPs, update them, and keep it all in one spot. So like the search and seizure document, the DNA document, all that shit's getting integrated into the SOP. Like,
holy
I was already
shit!
in there. I thought all that stuff was
Equal
already in there.
poorly
That's not Pride,
integrated.
is it? No,
Poorly
it's not.
integrated. So
Well,
I don't
most
think
people
Pride's
aren't
it.
reading it, so
yeah, that too. So when we do release it, it's gonna be tied to a roll call essentially. So just so you know,
Yo,
when you do
Parker with a
roll
tier
call,
1 for
that
4 months. Parker,
is
thanks so much for the
affirmation
4.
that you've at least acknowledged the SOPs have been updated and are in existence. Preferably,
my
have gone
goodness.
through them. So yeah.
We have a terms of service agreement that we're gonna.
Yeah. And then likewise, if you're an FTO, you should be seeing an FTO
Yo, what up,
document
Mia?
coming out for yourselves.
Cool.
So yeah.
just explain to them how that would
Yeah,
work.
Flippy's
That's-
on the
so there's
server a
no
lot. He doesn't really
confusion if
stream a
people,
lot.
You know, aren't
What do you mean with
mad.
the roll call?
Yeah.
Actually, he does during the
Okay.
EU time.
SOP gets put out. Roll
Then he
call
can't
start at
stand
the same
still.
time. You open the SOP with your computer. You take your eyes and your finger and you scroll through and you read the SOP and just kind of peruse it and make sure you understand everything.
Man,
Once
fuck
you're
the
done,
SOPs.
you go and do the roll call, affirming that you've done said action of
I'm
reading
definitely
the SOP.
gonna do that, 100%.
I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a pop quiz at the next meeting.
kidding,
I'm going to
I'm kidding,
ask
I'm
like a random thing from a random page
Maybe.
so you actually read it.
There will be
What?
some new
I'm sick
additions
for
in
that
there.
meeting.
There are new additions going in, just to clarify things.
Just,
like the
just so
time
we're clear,
zones.
Andrews has not read the first page yet, but there will be a pop
True.
quiz.
The first word on there is welcome.
Fucking pop quiz.
Nice.
Can we wait? Just for verification, SOPs, not to be shown to public. Is that correct?
Man of the streets,
Never,
or man of
ever,
books
ever.
and
Yeah,
rules,
I
exactly.
just want to make that very clear to everyone who's going to be reading the new SOPs.
I would try not
Like,
to even talk about them in depth too much, to be honest, on streams.
So
period.
going forward, I don't know if you guys started putting your email address on that list that Columbo had put out.
That was command only. It was doing that.
Oh, it was,
Yeah.
But I
Didn't
think
Columbo
was it?
make
I
an
thought it was
announcement?
everyone.
we're all supposed
Oh,
to do
no,
it.
no,
Yeah,
he's
it
doing,
was
yeah, that's right,
everybody.
it's different. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so what we're gonna try to do is close off the document so that only you have access and it's not a
Yo, Kane would have
open
switched around for
document.
3 months in a row. Kane, thanks so much for the 3.
Is that
Could
a-
really
is
help
that-
if someone.
I think it's in PD announcement. So if you haven't put your email
Jesus.
in, make sure to put it in.
Yeah, just don't be leak Andy.
Yeah, and
Yeah, please
I
don't
would
leak
advise
that
you not to
because
use
then
like a
somebody
personal
else,
email for that.
yes, somebody
Yeah.
else's email is gonna end up on that fucking. So please don't leak that list.
Or like the MDT.
just-
Let me leak it right now. What are they on about?
Listen, dude, we already talked about that Nikes. All right,
All right, I'm gonna open up right now, chat. All right, you guys got your
Time's
screen
a charm.
recorders ready?
Anyways, if when they do come out, if you have questions, just feel free to put them in general and whatnot.
Screen
whatever
recorders
channel
ready,
you have
boys.
accessible, that is
SOPs
accessible to
are
you,
coming out.
We can answer them. I think we're trying to clarify some of the admin stuff we haven't really put out policies on.
The
like
SOPs are
switching
coming out,
shift,
dude.
time zones, things like that. What being on LOA actually means, because people are taking LOAs but still getting on the server and playing cop. So we're gonna kind of outline everything so it's very clear.
how do you game capture with streaming PC?
You can't.
You can't.
And
Well,
What
you
the
can.
hell does
You
that
mean?
actually can. You just
You could
Oh.
use OBS
Leak,
on
boys,
your primary
leak.
PC and then use NDI to pass it to your second PC.
Oh shit, never mind. I'm done. Ignore me.
And
I
yeah,
was thinking
is
into
dope.
that. My
You
fault.
can-
Do you have anything
Video
else?
Leak,
Aquaman,
dude, leak.
Anything else we're trying to bring up? Probably get some sim going here at some point.
Let's go some simulation. I ain't. this is
No,
good.
just to reiterate a bit on the queues. I know everyone knows.
Okay.
Everyone knows for a long queues. This like from everyone's in terms of server health, this
Where's
is
Rhino?
a very good thing to have. Maybe it's a bit longer queues than actually no cops playing at all. Just make sure to be mindful to each
Fucking
other
Brian Knight,
and to
dude.
play within your time zones.
Such a unique character.
I personally don't like getting on and telling people to get off
Look at
because
this dude.
they're not basically playing in their time zones. So just be mindful and be wary of each other. And I know we all want to play, and just keep that in mind when you're going about doing this stuff.
Also want to add, like, don't be just mindful to, like, the people that are trying to get on at that time. Be mindful, like, in general, because I know there's a few people that Like they literally can't play outside of the time zone that they've been assigned to, and they literally have not been able to play for weeks at a time. So you just look around and,
who is not playing COP for weeks?
Like Casterman, for example. Casterman literally hasn't been able to play. All right, he literally can't.
Casterman?
So. Yeah, I'm not sure what his issues are. I guess I'm not sure.
He has a job, and when he comes back, he has a certain time to get on, and he can't wait 4 hours to go through.
Right.
Unless somebody on duty wants to, there's like we literally can't come up with a solution unless we put some strict stupid rules in.
We need 0 EUQ, which right now is actually impossible.
Impossible.
What if I'm on
so
an A sort of customer?
Maybe someone can give him the spot and just make that known in dispatch. Like
For Eastern, right now, just so you know, I would have to get up at 6 in the morning to be able to play my time zone.
Well,
Eastern time.
I just play randomly, so I'm chilling.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, even he can't even, like, he has, I think, school plus work. I'm not too sure, but it's impossible for him.
Yeah. I mean, then it sounds like he's just busy in general.
Would it be possible?
I don't...
Has the talk been had about raising the COP limit at all?
Oh my god, they want to fucking raise it. Fuck that.
The point I was trying to make is
19 cops.
Like, even if we raise the clock limit, that's not going to solve this problem.
25
That'll
cops.
alleviate the queue by like 1.
Yeah, because like I said, we had a 10
Yeah.
we had a 10-person queue at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday last week. Like, there's what are we gonna do to There's nothing that can be done about that.
I personally like it. I'm just saying, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'd rather.
You know
have
why
this
I like
issue
it,
than
Jack? It
not
gives me
enough
more
cops who are
flexibility
forced
to play
be
both
cops.
characters.
Yeah, I remember the good old days when it would just be me on duty for like 3 hours when I was a cadet. This is way better.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
I think we're
Who
good,
rescued
right?
you if you got kidnapped?
I actually, you know what? I was the tready of my class. Actually, I got told to toughen up because I was such a pussy.
She was, yep.
F8 quit.
She just called Freddy a pussy.
Well,
She was known as the cop. She would just put her hands up immediately if you showed up. You didn't even
I
have to
got-
put her down. You just had to tell her put her hands up. She'd put them up.
I also want to mention that, like, I've had a few people come up to me in regards to attire, like uniforms.
Please
as well
don't
as
change my
cars.
pants. I will
Some of
slap
guys
you
are,
if you
like,
change
painting
my
them,
pants.
You know, matte colors or taking the top off. I'd say for now, just keep the cars uniform until we come out with the new uniform SOPs. I know we got like the new vests, like the one I'm wearing, as well as some other stuff, and I know some of you guys want to like throw on some military pants or throw on like a military hat, stuff like that. Just wear a normal uniform, and once we decide on what people should be wearing, we can talk about it then. Because I know officers have
It's a
questions.
game, please. It's a
they say,
game.
hey,
Don't
that
fucking
guy,
do this to me.
Is wearing this? Is he allowed to? And I just, I don't want to be having like 13 conversations about uniforms. So just keep them normal for now until we can adjust the uniform SOPs again.
Just try to worry about yourself and don't wonder why somebody else is. I hate when the argument or conversations start with, well, this person's doing this, can I do it?
I was AFK, dude.
But just try to worry about yourself.
We we got the SOPs we're working on. We got Academy, and we'll tackle pants next. But just for now, keep them normal.
Yeah, let me put that on the list.
I mean, these are normal pants, to be fair. Normal. Stop pointing at me.
I think we should be good to start some sim here. I think we need to go over possibly some car sims today. People can use cars against us while we're on foot, as an example.
One more thing, I'm sorry.
Same for the back left tire. Fuck it.
You guys saw the announcement about EMS?
Yeah.
All right, so taser thing, we're still trying to. I'm gonna talk to Coil about that, or talk to Medi and Coop of what we should allow them or give them, or what they can do. I don't know.
Wait, what?
I had decided to like give them tasers, and
that's probably a bad idea.
The thing about it is they've had tasers for about a month now.
The thing is, like, anything that EMS is gonna get stolen.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna get weird.
Fire extinguishers.
Here's the question: has that been an issue before? Because, like I said, they've had a taser for a month now.
Fire extinguishers.
With fire extinguishers, yes, but they're they're tasers.
Yeah, but if the criminals
want
want
this.
something, they're gonna take them, and if they know EMS is gonna have them moving forward, they're gonna take them.
It's kind of like our watches. Like I doubt most of those watches were purchased that criminals have.
You can get
Like
them
the
in the
cameras
shop.
and whatnot.
You can get
Like
them
it's
from
not that they shouldn't have it. It's kind of like, I mean, honestly, we should just get rid of these taser alerts. That's the primary, I think, reason they got rid of originally, and
Tasers.
people tasing tires.
I think it's like a. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it like a code thing? Is it like linked to that gun slot or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. Nikes?
Okay.
Nikes. Is it possible to
He's
get rid of
sleeping, poor
taser
guy.
shot calls?
Let the man
but
sleep.
Keep the regular shot calls.
Poor motherfucker trying to sleep out here.
Firearms?
Maybe. I'm gonna post my PayPal link in PD chat
Yeah.
later.
Wow, we just got
yeah.
foiled, guys. Nice, dude.
Come
I'll
on,
give you a
bro.
dollar.
Yeah,
Are you surprised that one of Cole's devs is like this?
I asked this guy for a way to turn off the radio.
Hey, my man's out here
when,
trying to make
a
bread.
robbery comes through and it dispatches to everyone. Like if you're around a cop,
I respect
you
it.
can
He's
hear,
just trying to
like,
make
a
some
jewelry
bread,
store
dude.
robbery thing, for example, for cops that go undercover, and he just asked me for $5,000.
Yeah.
That was
I
it.
should
That was the end
I
of
should probably
discussion.
say like
If
you
there's,
know,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, you guys have seen like the restructure change between management and trust, etc. Let's try not to message the devs directly about any like ideas we have on the spot.
Let's try it. Let's not at all.
There's going to, so we have a severe lack of individuals in this community posting their feature requests through the
We
forum.
spoke to Coil yesterday, chat.
Anything
And
that
the
you
stun
guys would like
mechanic.
to see,
Ooh,
I
some
would
changes
say send
come
it
in.
to Andrews
Maybe.
or Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Let them collate it, and then they'll send it to
Can't
me.
wait.
And then if it sounds like a good idea, then we'll put it into effect.
The reason I said try not to is just because I know that Nikes is in our like general chat and he'll be in there talking to people about
Let's go.
or was that Raid? I'm thinking of Raid. Just they talk about like ideas and stuff that they're working on. And just having people to give feedback on it. Like the dispatch system was a good example of that. And there was officers in there just saying like, oh yeah, that's good, or because he was asking questions about how certain codes tie into our dispatch calls. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is don't message them directly, about stuff.
Nice fire.
Just message us if you have like an issue or an idea or etc. Because they get enough messages as it is. They need to just focus on what they're doing and not like entertain like any on the spot thing you decided to have that day.
Yeah, Sharp needs to concentrate on how to be a cop. That's
Shut
the real
the
tough
fuck
task.
up.
True.
I saved Mexi's ass last night.
I just want to quickly let you guys know that I did just pay Sharp $5,000, so we're clear for at least one thing.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
I got about 30 grand on me.
Doesn't work that way, sir.
What do you mean?
Nudes in DMs. That's what it did.
Oh, that's easy.
Nudes
I can show you
in
my
DMs.
toes.
Nice, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say, I got plenty of feet pics. He likes elbows.
Okay, it's 1:30. We good here to start actually training?
Yeah, so just to drive home that fact, like if there's anything that would increase the quality of life of being an officer, definitely do share those ideas with them, because there is going to be some quality of life changes that we're going to be focusing on.
Stop moving. Cat pixel, by the
Okay,
way.
so-
I can't. We like
you
no. This is
mention
going to be
us four
across
and
the
do it
entire
together?
server.
Okay, so who do we
if-
contact?
Just
myself or
put your,
Bobby.
Hi, command.
Yeah, try to use screenshots, explain how it's an issue, etc., to ensure that we understand what you're talking about. If it's like a one-word sentence, it's going to be thrown away because it's useless.
Ooh, I have. Sorry.
So then
What the
we'll
hell?
look over it. Certain things will be approved, and then we'll find a time to do it. And this
Vinny
is
out here
not
trying to get me
Scott
banned, dude.
specific. This is across the entire server. So
I have one thing I want to add. So we had an issue with the doors today, right?
Ban me, it's all good.
And yesterday. I heard several people in this room complain about it. Did I see a single fucking bug report? Question mark.
No.
Hey,
What
Nikes.
doors?
Nikes.
Yes.
There's issues with the doors.
Oh god.
Well, he told me if I didn't make a
Shoot him,
report
shoot
on
him.
the
If you're a
legal
man, you
bank,
shoot
I was
him.
gonna get banned, so I had
Hey,
to.
Nikes,
Yes.
can you fix the server, please?
Oh, shut the.
Oh.
Thank you.
No,
Actually
no,
just
but
crashed.
seriously,
Poor guy, bro.
no, but
He's just trying to
seriously,
sleep,
in
enjoy his
society,
life.
you giving us the logs helps us fix the problem, because sometimes it's hard to replicate it, and for that we do need logs, because in the logs it states the actual issue and we can look it up.
The logs, logs are here,
please,
boys.
If you have issues, and
that's the
especially
kind of logs we're talking about now.
Don't complain about the issue. Do something about it. Thank you.
It's probably
is there
the result of like.
Sorry, is there like a not SOP, but is there a way? Is it on the forums for how people should effectively report issues?
Yes.
Yes.
There's
a template.
There's guidelines.
I mean, I'm saying I've reported stuff
Nice
as well,
model,
but as far as like logs and stuff, I'm not sure what you're specifically looking for out of them.
There's something called a citizen FX log. Listen,
the instructions are there on the report. But I will say this:
important.
In order to submit it, you have to submit like a zip file.
Why is this
Don't try to
dog's tongue
submit
out,
the
huh?
actual file itself. It's not going to work. You're going to get thrown out over and over and over.
Jesus.
What if like I'm streaming for 4 hours and they
He
bug
wants a little
occurred during
licky
hour number
licky.
2? Do I have to like stop my stream and get the log file right then and there when it happens, or do I
No.
like after the stream's over, can I get the log file and send it over?
Uh,
Do you
the
need to know
logs-
when it happened?
Well, so you need to keep track of if you're unsure, just send the last 5 files, right? They're small. Usually they have a date and timestamp on it, so you should be able to sort of correlate to when it actually happened through the file name, right?
Chad, you know there used to
If
be
you
a time
play
in
for 12
nopixel where
hours,
this
you
was like
maybe quit
constant.
the game 3
You see the
times,
numbers
you
on the
have
head?
3
It'll
log
just be
files
like that.
of that time period.
Then they removed it.
Okay, so each log file is associated with the game launching or closing.
It used to be like that.
Don't quote me on that, but I think
How
so,
weird
yes.
does that look now? Holy shit.
It could also have a size limitation that when it exceeds a certain size, it creates.
Then
a
they
new file.
removed it.
But I assume they just have a suffix on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think when it
Oh,
comes
the
to
MC's in
reporting
session, yeah.
bugs, especially PD-related ones, I think a lot of us are guilty of taking part in the bystander effect, where we're like, okay, it's not just me. Someone else surely must have reported this, and it literally just goes unreported forever.
Right,
Like
so we'll
the
just be
doors.
proactive about it.
Yeah, just do it.
Let's get to training.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we move on?
No.
I have something, maybe,
No.
I don't know. Medi, if you want to bring up what we discussed this week with the AD, I don't know if you guys want to...
Oh, yeah. I think let's wait until he does it, but TLDR, I spoke with the... I was getting really frustrated with, like, how open-ended trafficking is and murder and yada, yada, yada. So we had a talk with the DA, and the request was,
I'm about to get
well, since
fired.
the DOJ is so open-ended, and given that the DA is going to ultimately be the one bringing these cases to, to court,
At
that
Joe's.
if they can provide us, the DA can provide us a guideline as to what quantities of what would be required for them to say, hey, we want to take this.
We want
to court
take it
for trafficking, or what is the amount
Oh my God, I'm
for
about to get
they
kicked.
might take it, and what
Is
is
that
the
a bad
amount
thing? No.
that they would suggest we raid, etc.
Because
Quarter
he
ounces
has a lot of fun.
that he would want to push for trafficking, or would it be 150? Like, what are the sort of the general
So
rough
I feel like there's a common misconception when it comes to writing search warrants. Like, finding a quantity of drugs doesn't automatically mean that a search warrant should be written. You gotta like justify why you believe that there's more drugs in their residence. I don't think coming up with a guideline for a
No, Vic,
quantity
never.
would work.
It's gonna be
like
more
a trolling
comprehensive
mood, chat.
than that.
Woo!
That was just
Like we would, I think
he
we
was
would
gearing
need
more-
to. I think we would need to like get more probable cause of why we think there's more drugs in this dude's house, or he's stashing it somewhere.
True.
So I believe I do believe that we do need some sort of guidelines, and we're gonna work on that.
Because I think
But
that'll
for that-
definitely help with the, like you said, the primary aspect of that was to bring it to court. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this honestly is like a not. I think this is like an outer city discussion as well.
Yeah.
I understand that he wants to like.
We
do
are
it
out of
in-game,
city. What do you
but,
mean, Bobby?
Just raids in general is something we need to like discuss with them.
Change your pants,
going
bitch.
forward.
No.
And that's
Change your
that's just some of the
pants.
conversations
No,
we're
I'm not
having because
doing it.
raids are kind of in a
Change your
weird
pants.
spot as they
No.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we were
That would
gonna
make
wait
it
until
There's
the,
no
more
need.
common
You're
thing, or,
superior.
like often, like
You
we
wanna
could
get
do it
slapped
more
up.
often if we had like guidelines
get
and we know
fucked
that
up,
we
bitch, huh?
need to actually like, oh, we got that
I will
amount.
kill you right now.
Okay, that's not gonna get thrown away, and we're not gonna rate
What are you going
someone
into the labs run right now with that fucking
like in a
armor?
bad way, and
Hell yeah.
it's not gonna be thrown out, and we can actually put the work and not waste our time.
I'm the chief of
Should be a
police.
difference between being rated and being convicted, though. So those should be two separate issues.
yeah, those are two separate things. So, I mean, like I said, search warrants are to
gonna
go
walk around
look
like
for a
Bobby.
specific item that you believe is in somebody's house. So, if just because Chain Gang is a gang doesn't mean that we should raid them because they're Chain Gang, but we need to
Do it.
find
you
a
want.
specific thing that we are looking for in their house that we
Please don't
have
actually.
PC for,
Fuck.
if that makes sense.
Yep.
Are we done here? I want to do a thing which apparently crashed 4 people.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I want to do a thing, and 4 people might crash. Apparently, I'm not sure. But just reconnect. I'll stop it then. It's kind of experimental, but
4 people about to crash.
Nike's equals server crashing. We already know that.
Shut. All right. So is everyone okay with that? So worst case, you just have to reconnect.
Do it.
I have to bounce soon, so you could do it to me if you want.
No, it's,
All right,
it's
so-
for everyone. I can't select a certain person.
Oh, okay.
I lost my brother.
It
now
sucked
I'm gonna
until the
lose my
tank came.
dad.
I'll be honest. I think it was a little rough because we have PD kind of all split up, trying to fight each different car separately when we should be more.
It's like a meme.
Trying to
chat.
fight them, I think.
Bingo! When you get attacked solely, you should try and like
Yeah.
radio your position instead of focusing on shooting, and hope that the people around you can come to your position. You should be a circle Andy around a block a few
Yes.
times so that people can gain on you while cutting the angles from the shooters, not
Like-
just driving away shooting at things.
Like I thought, Doug
Wow.
had said we should try and gather up at Utopia Parkway together for the 1013, but it seemed like looks like
everyone
Fred
was
should be in charge. Still kind of just separated and just didn't work out. They slowly picked us off one by one until the last person went down, which does no good for us.
Can we just applaud Kyle for saying something smart?
Yeah, when I'm not role playing, I'm actually quite intelligent.
Will you roleplay?
Debatable.
Good, you caught me.
Nice, dude.
I don't think the point where you guys where it was focused into hunkered down was the best one. You could have across the street there was at Mace Bank Arena there are little pillars that you could have had cars block the way and kind of use the walls as a protection. So we were like able to shoot from multiple angles and get people down from the PD.
Did we try to do the spike strip thing?
No, there was no spikes.
I don't think there was an area where we could have done spikes because everybody was kind of like, well, there was, but I just don't think anybody kind of remembered to do it since everybody was kind of like. There wasn't time. No, there's definitely time.
There was a period of time where no criminal was at the Maze Bank Arena.
Yes, exactly.
I think half of us were wiped out by then. I got killed on the way
Yeah.
to the situation
Yes.
we were supposed to be training on, so.
Yes. I think
Yeah,
half of them
you-
got killed over near Benny's. By the time I looked at the GPS and saw that 80% of the cops were down at Benny's, I was like calling for backup. I was like, oh, well, that's.
Yeah.
I was like, there's nothing you can do then. It's just kind of like survivor gets shot at that point.
Yeah. The other downside.
You can always run away.
The other downside for PD is that when PD is bleeding, we do have IFAKs, but they aren't instant. I think the
10 seconds.
10 seconds for the bleed effect to go away, which means, for example, in the situation Ripley was in, I don't know if you were bleeding. I think you were because
Yeah, I
you
was
were
IFAKing in the
stationary.
alley. Yep.
Yeah.
That what
he
they call
moved, he would have died from bleeding out. He literally had no choice. It was either stand still and hope that we missed all our shots, or move his car or bleed out.
Well, what I did was I angled my car so the back of me was to you, so that forced you to not go in that alley. But all you did was just whip
Yeah, go
around.
around,
and
yep.
Came in the front of it, and there was nothing I could do.
Mm-hmm. Our ability to use Oxy and immediately stop bleeding is incredible. as
Oxy's
criminals.
way better than IFAX, and it's
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
more
for sure.
inexpensive. It's a resource battle. You guys aren't pointing it out that every conflict is a fucking resource battle against criminals, especially when they have cars. Take shots, they have plenty enough time. If they just have Oxy, just keep chewing them up. All right, that's all it is. Resources.
Yeah, and when you're in a
Did your
car,
head just explode?
when you're in a car and you take Oxy, you don't have to wait for anything. It's instant. Whereas with the IFAC, you have to wait for it to actually take effect and then wait 10 seconds after that. I don't know if you have to pull your gun out, but you can immediately start shooting afterwards.
Does armor stop bleeding?
No.
No.
No, right?
Negative.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I mean, our biggest resource right now is numbers, right? And I think when there is a 10-13, I feel like some of you kind of get tunnel vision and just go in just to save that officer. But then while you're going in by yourself, you kind of just get fucked up by the criminals. So I think you should, listen, 10-13s are important, but, if you've got a life decision to make and you have to wait maybe an extra 2 or 3 minutes for a backup, then I think you should do it.
Yeah,
Also,
Because if you die, you can't save them either. So
exactly.
If you're being chased by a criminal, just try to set up a point where you can just drive through, and have PD just like a couple officers ready to shoot and disable the vehicle at the same time. Like I said, PD has the numbers, so if you guys utilize them properly, then...
Yeah, but the odds of us being able to pull that off is having them follow us long enough to establish an ambush point is, I think going to be slim to nil.
I think it's possible, especially when most people are already, centered in one part of the city. Like, let's be honest, most people were around, Legion Square, PD, and this happened at Grove Street. Like, that's ample opportunity for the entirety of the police department to respond. Not only that, but if you're actively being targeted, like, you should be able in that small area, look at your mini-map and be like, there's a unit right over here, and then try to focus on getting there if possible.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So is the main reason people shoot from cars is so they don't stagger?
Don't stagger.
You're small
Yeah, isn't that
There's
isn't
more
that
cover.
kind of
Yeah, there's a lot of cover.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
but
like a
I can't
body
be the
armor.
only. Like, isn't the fact that you're shooting from a car not like because you don't stagger kind of like exploiting something?
I mean, that's
Isn't
not
that kind
why
of
I don't think that's someone's thought
I
process.
think there's a lot of reasons. Like,
The thing is,
mobility.
like,
I think it's just
I think
successful
that
to be able to
generally
keep doing
speaking, as a criminal, you're going to do whatever it takes. Whatever is the best tool at your disposal, you're going to use. And vehicles are, small window to shoot at. You can swap them. You can drive. You can enter
Catch
into combat,
trucks.
exit into combat. You don't stagger. There's like a number of reasons for it.
Yeah, you
Get-
catch people
make
off guard
distance
if you
and
keep
instantly
swapping
repair.
cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I it's not because of stagger that I'm in a car, for example. It's just more
Stagger is
cover, more
definitely one
mobility.
of those things, right?
I
Like
never
you may
even
not
thought
know
about
that
it.
it's
No,
stagger.
Sure.
yeah, but I never thought about it like that until you
Yeah,
just
it's like
brought that
late.
up.
That's the
It's
first time I
just
thought about it.
successful,
To
so
be
keep
honest.
doing it.
a lot of things you're not gonna necessarily consider, but like you're gonna notice when you're using a car, you're surviving a lot more. The symptoms of why that's happening is what I just went over.
Well, yeah, there's a dramatic. Well, there's more cops. There's like 8 to 10 of them at times. So if I'm in a car, I can pick off a few of them, and then I don't mind getting on foot after that. But
Yeah, exactly.
I need to dwindle down some.
How
numbers
many
before I
cops were
fucking
there
get
on
off, but-
32? How many cops was 6, right?
Yes.
6, right? On 32
Yes.
slots.
6.
Yeah.
So it was 4v6, and that's probably why there's a lot more foot battles. Because it's easier to manage,
Well, at the
Yeah.
time, there was also the instant headshot meta. So
True.
if you were in a
Yeah.
car and someone had an AR and they vaguely breathed in your
Oh,
direction, you
yeah,
were
you're
dead.
fucked.
So,
All they see
like,
is
just
your
one
head.
little hit, yeah, because that's all
Well,
they have to hit.
that's come and go a couple times, even over the last what was it, 5
Remember when I
months ago?
headshotted
No,
fucking
7 months
Slim?
ago or something like that. We had instant
You remember
headshot
that,
for like
chat?
I don't know, a month and a half before it went
Yeah,
back.
when people avoided cars a lot, then
we're doing the final
just
debrief
clips
now.
of like
Oh my
Dragon
God.
mowing down 4 people with like half a magazine.
I remember that. That was Toledo gas station,
I
right?
know they're hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, I remember that clip.
Yeah, like imagine, but like seriously, imagine like you have like 8 to 10 cops with PD pistols coming at you, and we got heavies, which are slower. The cops with the PD pistols are gonna win every time. But,
That's a lot of.
That's
bullets.
a
Yeah,
bold
range.
accusation.
Can we use-
It has
Well,
a
I don't know about
sight
that.
on it.
I mean,
I get 2 shot and then stagger by a heavy
way better
all the
with
time.
the heavy.
I mean,
I'm
to
way
be
better
honest,
with
from
my
the crib-
criminal with the
from the
heavy.
crib
I mean,
POV
once you stagger, you're kind of fucked, honestly, if they get another shot on you.
if you think the heavy
I think
staggers
it's
you
both
more than a
ends,
PD,
though.
you're fucking.
They're the same. So
The thing is, it happens about that. From a crimp POV, once this whole car meta talk started happening, I focused on trying to, do jobs, trying to on foot only. But I genuinely believe that it's like near impossible to win a situation if there's 8 cops on duty and there's 4 of us.
Yeah,
like you need to involve the cars somehow.
But let me ask you this: is your focus during those situations to escape or to down all the cops?
It depends on the situation.
Right there is a great question.
Because if it's to down all the cops, you're greater risk, greater reward, right? You down us all, you can loot us all, right? But if your intent is to do a bank truck robbery and get away, I have seen multiple situations where the opportunity existed to get away, but no one took it. Shots just kept getting fired.
Well, did you look at everybody's like POV? Because there was a situation the other day. I feel like people thought we could have gotten away, but we still had people on the roof, and then we had a chopper land that was shooting at us. So.
Was that the one where was I involved with that one where we were up top?
Yeah, that's the one. It was the one where Coop was in a bush.
Where
yeah,
5-0 and Medi were running across in the open with the car. Yeah. I don't know. Is that the one?
On that one, McLean, why do you think you guys couldn't get away on that one? Just out of curiosity. Like because I was down. I went down pretty early.
Nobody was pushing, so we were like, fuck it, we're gonna push out. So 2 of us pushed out. We got into a vehicle. The first row we went down, we found them running across the street. We were like, fuck it, we're gonna take these guys out. Our other boys didn't have a vehicle, so they had to search for a vehicle. So while they were, getting their self together, Sizz isn't always the best actor. He moves pretty slowly. I guess they were trying to find a car or whatever, so we were kind of just holding it down until they kind of got out of there or whatever. And then I think at some point the heli landed, and they still weren't getting a car. I don't know why. I told them to get the out of there.
Yeah, but
right when we ran down, I told them to get a car, and they still hadn't gotten a car.
Yeah,
sometimes you're like,
so
people don't listen.
Circumstances, that'll arise where it's not.
Well, I was only gonna go OOC in that situation because, like, you guys came and you looted us, which was fine, but then like you guys started bringing cops back in like a pile. And then Sizz and them came back and started looting us again.
And
this was like after all the cops have already been downed and EMS tried rolling in.
I
and
told
like,
him that we already did. Like
I think that's just like a comms, I guess, because
I told him. It's just weird from us. And EMS is like trying to just come in, but you guys are like moving bodies and like re-looting again. It's like we just have to lay there and just kind of wait for you guys to leave before we do anything.
I mean,
and like you're not the only ones that do that, by the way. I just don't want to put the blame on like, oh, this is a you thing. Like
the meta is to kill all the cops now. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no one's at fault.
Well, if everyone would have stayed in the air, we would have just left. But they landed.
We were circling over and over, and then the guy you weren't leaving. He was just
I believe there was one.
It's because people take longer. Listen, I try to get out of there as fast as possible. I don't like looting people because you motherfucker. A lot of motherfuckers get pissed off. So I don't bullshit personally. Because I don't fucking feel like hearing it. Oh my god, this guy's so pissed off. Like, they come to my stream and let me know. I don't fucking need to hear that shit.
That's true.
But, yeah, I try to get out of there as soon as possible. Other people obviously do things differently. We're not all the same, right? We're all different. So different things are gonna happen. Sizz was over there fucking doing his thing. Like, I mean, he's a grown ass man. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, right? I kept telling him they were already looted, but what are you gonna do after that?
I mean, I think if we're gonna be honest, I think definitely killing all the cops is an event, and it's just a immovable force. Not like I don't think there's any reason to be pointing at anybody. It's just something that happens on the server, and I think if it's something that's not desired, that's a much bigger conversation than here.
I don't think it should be avoided. I just think it would be cool if, even though the 8 cops that are allowed on the server got shot down, it would be cool if the criminals at least acted like, let's get out of here, backup will be here any second, dude. This is like, instead of just, oh, all you're down, take your fucking time, who cares?
We're starting to get outside of like what
we're 100% getting outside here.
I mean,
like,
these are
listen,
that
I'm gonna keep it 100.
The same thing can be said about cops.
Like,
when cops
look,
know
I
there's
find
4
it
people
fun
down,
to
they
mow
kind
down
of
all the cops. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't the only one like that. The escape meta is not a thing at the moment.
They just said they want to
until
move off topic.
There's a higher level discussion
Me
about
saying
this,
that
and
literally brings
something
nothing.
happens. I think
Yeah,
talking about it
sorry, I
here
didn't mean to
isn't
get
a good
off
idea.
track. I just
We're off
started
track.
mentioning it. I was just kind of curious because it kind of leads into like how we train for stuff, but it does sound like it's just a.
My
server
thing is
culture
I
thing.
think
It's all
everybody's
petty
different,
shit, to be
to
honest.
answer your question, and I think some people stay and they do their thing, and then I think some people try to think like, well, you know, I don't want to annoy this person, I don't want to piss this guy off, so I'm just gonna get out of here. But
Well, there
like,
was a situation at the news building where I think it was you doing a mission with Buddha, where I was the only one on the helicopter, and we got on a radio and basically told you guys instead of landing, I just said, "Oh, you guys can leave," and I won't chase you guys, and you guys just left, and I was able to get all the police gathered together. So I mean,
Yeah,
I think
sometimes
communication
sometimes negotiations work. Like I've tried. I was the only cop at one point for a situation that happened last week, and I tried getting them on radio, and obviously they probably didn't see the tweet or whatever. And you know, negotiations don't always work, but
Yeah.
I know we're trying different things to just like help
Yeah,
move the
as far
roleplay
as me,
along.
whenever I've done a job, and if I ever get tweeted or something from a cop, that kind of means you're kind of over the situation. You just want to get your cops, and I feel like most times crims will just dip after something like that.
and then sometimes I think with the bank trucks, people just they're like, damn, we don't get paid out enough, so they're like, fuck it, let's rob cops.
Yeah, that's
that's
an
a
issue
different
too
issue.
that I know exists,
Yeah.
and that's like one reason why when you guys like loot us, I'm not really. I mean, that's fine because like you know we put ourselves.
We
in that
don't really
situation with however
loot
much
cops
money
though.
we have.
I don't remember the last time we
just
fucking
there's greater like consequences to like it
wiped
taking
out
longer,
cops.
you know. But
and
yeah.
looted them.
Thanks for the input, by the way. I appreciate you guys like talking
Yeah.
to us about this
Mhm.
stuff. I know it's sometimes hard to be like in a room full of like 30 cop mains and be like, oh yeah,
Maybe if we're like
we killed you guys
resupplies.
and we did this and here's why.
No, but we do gotta talk about it at some point, right? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm gonna.
Is that even a main?
I'm gonna take them outside and shoot them just to say I finally downed them.
Do you-
So that's fine.
Nice.
Before we move on from this topic, do you believe that there's been enough discussion outside the city between the top criminal factions and the police faction?
I don't see all
what
of
do you
them,
mean?
so I don't know.
Who's that directed towards?
Everybody in this room.
I don't feel that there's enough
Speak up about
conversation
what?
between
I have no
cops
idea.
and crims. I feel like very rarely do we discuss things.
The
We
only
do
And
need
I
something
feel-
that
I feel like we
alleviates
should.
people getting upset about things. So like,
Oh, yeah,
I
for
never
sure.
get upset when I'm robbed as a cop. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't
I
care
really
either.
don't give a fuck. So like,
So-
instead
Taking
when
my
I go
fake
down
money.
as a cop, I'm thinking about what I could have done better. I'm like, what could I have done better in this situation to help me next time? Instead of blaming car meta, instead of blaming, I say to myself, what could I have done better? How could I have done better in this situation to not got me killed? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking about.
But it just kind of
I
gets
think
to a
everyone
point
does,
where we're frustrated with how long just
yeah.
certain
What are you
things been
frustrated
around
with?
and how long it's been,
It
like
takes
how
a-
effective it is.
Well, it takes a really long time for these situations to be
Oh
resolved. you know?
yeah, like I get well, I don't get upset, but like we get long process times. We get long
No,
this.
no,
like,
I'm not.
I don't
I'm
fucking
not-
know. Like
it-
shit
it's
takes
not
a
about
while.
like my personal involvement in a situation. Laying down there for an hour is fine. I'll sit there and talk about whatever the fuck. That's not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
issue.
yeah.
It's
I'll
more
sit there
so.
and complain about crims
it's-
all day.
It's more so, you know, while the cops are laying down there for an hour after being involved in the shootout, someone who plays the petty crim, there's a lot of shit I'd love to do with cops. I just can't because something fun starts, and then they have to run off because there's another bank check.
Yeah, I
And
don't know
then
if y'all
another
are
one 2
cool
minutes
with us
later.
like respawning in that situation, or like you want to loot us, because like I've thought about it more than a few times, but like if we're down there and you've already looted us, I don't know if it'd be cool just to respawn at that point, because like
I'm pretty
know?
sure it
I
was
think
talked
it's-
about
I
already.
think
will
it's-
never
we've spoken about
respawn
this
as a
before.
role player.
The
I don't
main
care
thing
what the
is-
guidelines
The
are.
main thing is, I think a
I'll
lot
lay
of
there for
cops
days.
just don't want to go from
Nice,
shootout
dude.
to shootout to shootout, right? Like that's the main things they don't want. Like it's fine in moderation, but they don't want to do it all day long, and it gets wearing on you. You know, it's not necessarily the individual interactions in each of these that are the problem. It's happening over and over and over and over that kind of builds up
All right.
inside them. You know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
to
let's,
cut
let's
this
move
off.
on
But
from this
to-
conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna
to
say, it
answer
seems
your
like a
question,
wider
Mehdi,
discussion.
I tried that and it was very hard to like sit down with everybody, and then people didn't
No,
want to
I
do
know,
it.
but if if the general
I don't
vibe I'm
know.
getting here is we need another, you know, I
Yes,
think it's
yes,
worth
that's-
figuring out where things
Yes,
go.
we should.
The last thing I'm going to say here is that of everything I heard, understand that everyone's got their opinions for being everyone has their own opinion on how the server should be and how things should play out and what they find valuable and what they don't find valuable. We're all different. in terms of our expectations. So our expectations, we shouldn't necessarily put them on others as well. Feel me?
Bingo.
True.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, just working finding the balance. That's all. It's fun. I like it.
Anything else that we can bring up from the training, or any questions about anything?
Do you guys use spikes at all during any of these?
No, they
situations?
didn't.
We were
welcome to the talk here, Bobby. We already spoke about that.
We
Buddy.
tried,
All right,
but we
sounds
shut you
good.
down.
You know, I feel like in the two situation I was involved in, I feel like once a 1013
It's true.
happens,
Every time on
I
AJ,
feel
like, I don't see any
a
of
lot
this shit.
cops aren't,
I don't
like,
get into
focusing so
shootout
much on
after
going
shootout
towards
after
it.
shootout.
Like so,
Yesterday we
we
were
know,
on cop for
let's
9
say
hours,
car
we had
put
one
the
shootout.
Original 1013 down, right? And then they'll drive away like 2-3 blocks. I feel like in that moment you should be.
Maybe I don't
towards,
play it. I don't know.
1013, but you know, I've seen
Yeah.
like, you know, like the cops are like chasing them down one by one, you know, and then I feel like that's how more people end up going down, and they were never able to group up around the original 1013.
Well, I mean,
So-
it comes from like stopping the threat. It's something we talk about a lot. If we just go out to like the wounded,
I have to
and try
fucking
stop
tell
them,
Aaron,
like,
shoot me, please.
Maybe you wouldn't shoot us, but like a lot of other people would just shoot a cop trying to render aid. And we
Yeah.
kind of come to the conclusion that if we don't stop the people and what they're doing, then they're just going to keep shooting cops that are trying to render aid.
Are you the solo cop, or do you talk to anyone else on the radio or anything? Do you try and reach out on maybe Twitter, 911?
Well, I'm always using the radio with other cops. What do you mean?
I mean, you're saying when you're rendering aid to like the downed suspects and 1013s, right? So you have no other like officer with you?
No,
once
question
there's like
was-
3 or 4 on scene on a
Yeah.
downed officer, the other ones have to go mobile. There's only so many people can do. If it's one, like the first incident, the first training scenario we did, we had 1013 at the corner of Legion Square, and I looked around at one point, there's 6 of us just standing around with 5 cars just trying to hold a perimeter. At some point, we have to go mobile and try and expand our perimeter to try and not let the threat get in closer to where the initial incident happened. You know, does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
I would double so what you could have done is maybe send 2 units to like survey the area, and then just sort of instead of going in for the fight, just kind of defend the like the area around, you know?
Well, that's
kind of scare them off rather than chase them down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
I
there
agree with
were quite a few opportunities where I had a car on me. I was the one to originally gauge the fight, and
which car were you in?
I was in the neon, the blue neon.
Okay.
So I was the one to originally engage the fight. It was me and Hodded.
He's an actual
And
cop, but I
was
doubt he
badly
gets
hurt
into
multiple
fucking
times, and all
shootouts
I
like
had to do
this.
was pull off, and I never got pursued. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah, 'cause
every
we
one
went-
of those vehicles had at least 2 people in it.
That I was one of them. Were you driving?
Yeah, I was driving.
Yeah. So the
I
one
doubt
time
he
when
gets
we
into
went
situations like this,
and
all
we
right?
went past the, I think it was the train station. I had you, and I know I turned off because I went back to maintain that initial wider perimeter for scene
Hopefully not,
security.
anyway.
But I knew you were hurt pretty bad, and I regret not continuing that because I had good
Yeah.
shots through the back of your window.
Every time we as criminals get away, it's an opportunity for us to reset. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
literally
If you should-
re-ammo, re-armor, you know, re-up on health, fix my tires, and start over as if you never even hit me.
Yep.
If you shoot if you disable one of or 2 of their tires, eventually the other one will pop, and then we'll start losing control of the vehicle. So if you have a mobile unit that can chase a vehicle, if tires were disabled and not choke
Jordan.
you can probably do a lot of damage to the criminals.
Yeah, well, that's
there.
the same with cop cars too, though. We will
Yeah.
risk that.
Oh,
oh,
all
see ya.
right.
Goodbye.
We risk having that too, though, and then we're not driving 20 blocks over to fix our cars, to fix our tires. You know what I mean? We have to stay close to where the initial incident happened for scene security.
Yep, and I think that something that typically happens that didn't happen all that much, if at all, during the situation was very frequently crims, as soon as their vehicle's exposed, they'll go out, they'll shoot another local for their car,
Just get a
jump
brand new
in,
one.
and then you'll have no idea until they're already opening fire on you, and it's another sort of, you know, element of surprise there. I don't think we did that at all during the situation. I could be wrong. I didn't. I'm pretty sure McLean and AJ didn't. I don't know about Angel.
Did the first one? How many cars were involved with the first one? Was it 4 cars or
3?
3? Was it 3? Okay.
I think me and Rated chased down just one individual. I think it was
McCree.
McCree, right? Yeah.
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 Maybe.
I thought that was the first one. Was that the one that initiated it all, or no?
No, I think it was
No,
no, it was Kyle and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were the
Did you guys
first
go
car to
down?
be initiated on.
I tried to drive away and radio that I was being shot, but both tires were gone and I was bleeding within like 5
Went
seconds.
down as easy as a date on prom night, I tell you that.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So real quick, and say we have a circling Andy. Should we? I feel like we have two options we can do. One, we can put a chase car out there and shoot back, having a mobile gunfight, or two, maintain a perimeter and just widen that perimeter as the situation, as time lapses. Like, which is the best one you think we should start working on?
Don't we
AJ,
need
you were there
both?
for
Yesterday's scene.
the incident with Tony. Yeah, how did
With
that
snow
work out
and-
well, right?
That went out
What
perfectly.
happened?
I think it was actually Curtis. You were there, right? I think you were. So
Yeah.
we had. Who was the guy that was down? Sis, right? Or Tony? I think we had
Tony.
Tony in
Tony.
custody near the mechanic shop. I think it was Stroke Masters, and I think McLean, Eugene, and Speedy. They were in 3 separate vehicles circling. I think it was maybe Snow that was down. Maybe
Yeah.
or Lauren. And I think it was me, Tony, and then like 3 other cops. And basically, what we did was we had Tony and Snow down inside Stroke Masters. And then we had 2 units just circling around and pretty much like defending off the 3 cars circling us. And then I think me and I forget who. I'm kind of forgetful, but me
You
and someone
Dad, I'm not
we took out McLean. No, we took McLean to Stroke Masters with the other downed individuals, and then held off Eugene and Speedy. And they had class 2s. Pretty much communication and working together. And listen, if you do chase someone down and you do go down, you can't really be upset about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
agree.
agree. You guys had 2 people in the car, which was good, and then you.
Yeah,
How many
we
did you
doubled
leave
up.
at the actual?
It was me and I think McCormick was there, or who was there?
See, that's good.
It was me and
Doubling
somebody
up.
else. We
Like
were
having 2
hovering
people
around
there.
snow, and then
And
there's
then,
2
yeah.
cars chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
See, I think that's I think that's a good counter. Is
yeah.
break, like, you know, I think we're kind of too hesitant to bring the fight to them in some situations because we're worried about scene security. But I think some instances, you know, we should.
We just need
if we have the numbers.
We need for somebody to recognize, and this is where the sergeants come in. If you recognize shit like this is happening, you got to start giving out commands to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting cars.
Because we
start
can't.
I
being
like
a chase.
defining a mobile unit like we just talked about. That would have been great for these trainings.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna vary sergeant to sergeant though. So for example, I know Trady.
Yesterday we held it down perfectly.
I know when it comes to Archer,
Needed
he's typically
cars. We just got
very-
hunted.
Archer's typically very adamant on hunkering down, staying in one spot, and making sure that people don't, enter whatever perimeter we have. For me personally, in the situation we just had, 2-3 units tops remaining on scene, and then 2 people jumping into one vehicle, 2 people jumping into another, and focusing on vehicles entering the area as they're entering.
That's
would be my
honestly
priority.
what you're gonna have to do, because the crims are gonna not come to the scene obviously and try to fuck with the scene if you're chasing them.
Yep.
So you gotta get units to follow them, push the threat or push them, and
Like,
just
take
wait
it
till
to
they
them.
fuck up.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of times where, as a crim, like you'll be running, and there's like 3 different instances I can recall tonight. I'd be driving away, and then my car would get fucked up, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, this is where we go," and I'd look behind me, and there's
And then
no
it comes
cars.
back off,
They're
right?
just not, they're just not there, you know.
Like they're scaring us out of the area, but not like they're just allowing us to reset. They're giving us the full opportunity to reset the situation entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, never mind.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking. So say we're doing that. Crims crash. We're still shooting out of cars. They're shooting in cars, out of cars. Are we now expected to get out of a car to start shooting if we know that the vehicle we were pursuing is disabled? Are we now expected to get out and start shooting, or are we still good shooting from the car?
If they get out and start running, then yeah.
No, I'm
I
saying
don't think
if
chase them down.
they're not,
Listen, if their car's disabled and they're in front of you and you're in your car, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting out. They're stuck there,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
But you're not probably
I'm
not gonna
just,
recognize
I'm
that
just
in the
going
moment,
off
you know?
expectations. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
in the heat of the moment, you probably be like, "Oh, fuck it," and you probably will do it. And I mean, if they're down in the car, then fair enough. If they've got out on foot and they're running,
still, then I don't see a problem with it. But if they're on foot running away, then hop out.
Yeah,
and,
no, I'm not
take
going
it
to shoot
to
them from the car. Then.
Yeah. Well, listen, there are some sneaky ass criminals who are going to jump in the backseat of that disabled car and keep. They're going to stay still for a while, not shoot, and then as soon as you put your guard down, they're going to start opening fire from in that car.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So just be careful. Make sure that you clear it. But the expectation is if they're on foot, you should be on foot.
Right.
And obviously, there's going to be like leniency if it's like they just got out or something. Like, don't think this is some kind of like, strict rule where it's like they were out for 2 seconds and you didn't get out, you're fired.
Yeah, no, I was just asking more of like an expectations type of
shoot
thing.
Me in the face with that.
Of because it's bound to happen if we're gonna have chase cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it also depends how many units on scene, right? If there's like 4 cops surrounding this guy who's in a car, you really want all 4 to just be shooting from the car.
Method.
Just because the guy's just sitting in the car? Probably not.
Well,
if you're alone,
the guy who also just shot at several cops while he's like. At that point, I don't think it's gonna.
Stuff.
Can
I use your best
question?
judgment on this sort of stuff.
Yeah, situational.
Yeah,
Ask away.
Yeah, if there's like 10 cops and one dude
What
in
are
car,
the biggest
then, it makes
complaints
sense.
right now that we have as PD? Is it processing and stuff? Maybe we could, explain how to expedite processing in a more timely manner. Maybe charging people and then, reserving some charges for a later date while they're already in jail or something.
I think we've already talked about that.
Yeah, we started working on that already. Sending if we have an investigation that's gonna take time, we just put them in for the 9s and then adjust their time that way so that at least they can get in with DOC and do some shit in there while we figure out, and then we just adjust the time accordingly.
We are doing that, right? That is a thing.
Yeah,
I remember there was...
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's a thing because I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
It was announced.
If it's like a really big job, instead of leaving them in
You
holding.
should read that. Absolutely, you should. It's expected of you.
All right.
All right, good stuff.
All right, so that wraps up our 8th or 9th, or I don't know how many trainings we've done so far. We'll keep doing them if you guys keep liking them.
It's 7.
Listen, dude, nobody asked you.
Can't read, but he can count.
True, I can count.
So command.
Yo, DTT with a $3 donation.
You know what? You're like that dude in class
Honest
where everybody's
question,
like looking at
why
the
not
clock.
have Chang and
It's
Buddha
like,
and
all right, cool,
Speedy
it's
in
time to go,
these
and then
sort
you're
of
just like,
meetings?
want to ask.
I love you to death, but you don't speak up like they would be, so you
like
have
3
to...
hours to answer.
No, it shouldn't. It should be a...
This is a PD meeting. It's not a fucking server meeting.
Your question is going to determine if we mag dump you right now.
Okay.
Oh,
so
shit,
we're
let me get it.
AR's out, everyone.
Everybody make him
Everybody... Okay.
I'm gonna move away.
Isn't this guy fired yet?
Watch out, Fred. Move over just a little bit.
I think
Go
ahead.
So if someone's, let's say, in front of you, either lock picking a door or a car or
This is
something,
taking forever.
and you hold a gun to their head and you said, "Hey, stop doing that," and they don't, do you just let them go?
What's your use of force there?
But you can tackle them or tase them.
Read the rooms already. A car, lock picking a car. What's your use of force?
I've held a gun.
Can we just shoot him?
All right, you held a gun to their head.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Oh my god.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Who just
I went
did
from
that? Who did that? That came
75
from back
frames
here.
to
I felt
30.
it.
I think it was Hotted.
Come here, you fucking bunny rabbit.
It wasn't me.
Oh my god, my friend.
Resource, by the way.
All right, guys. Good training. Good training. Command can be eyes closed meeting if you can make it, please.
Hey, Tony, I'll be
Eyes
there
closed.
ASAP.
Yes, sir.
Fuck.
I want to learn to fly.
Well, then just do it, Jordan.
I'm trying, but I'm also lazy.
What are you trying to do?
Yeah.